trash at pushing. Now, pullback is there, though. Carzzy coming in. Nice little rain of arrows. Good follow-up. Level 6, not enough. TP now to follow up to maybe hope to block it. It's successful. Fresskowy does a clean setup. Flick back onto Carzzy is nasty.
I think Fred will win this.
Yes, he does. Nice,
No.
Tres.
Let's go around.
Back, a flick back hitting onto Vetheo. Supa managing to throw the ult across the entire remaining team. Photon the only one doing any damage, but it's just not enough at all.
And welcome back to the ADC as Mad Lions go. Take game one here against some sad bees, I want to say. Didn't make the plan they had work in the end. And another convincing victory on the side of Mad Lions Scores, guys. We set the stage for bot lane, Jamada, ahead of today's show. I want to say the early game was mostly centered around bot lane, but that's where the action happened.
Yeah. It's where all of the action happened, right? We had Hylissang come out on this set, something we haven't seen. Gosh, I can't even remember the last time we saw a set in the support row. It's been a pretty damn long time. And from the off, as soon as we saw that, Mad Lions were like, okay, we have to try to shut this down. They were the first of the punch there down in the bottom lane. Could have even worked out if Hylissang had actually W'd towards Supa in this instance, but regardless of that gank, it was just constant aggression from both sides. It was mostly Elyoya who was down there to the punch, but eventually Daglas did start getting involved, and it started getting very, very messy.
And I have to say, it was pretty surprising that Daglas was able to match Elyoya on a lot of these fights towards the bot side of the map. It is the only lane that Rell can play through due to the priority in the other lanes for the side of MDK, and he did this pretty well, but there were a few overextensions here and there in their tries to get Carzzy ahead, get some kills onto their Varus. That cost them, for example, here on your screen, that cost them the Dragon to come on later on, and a lot of the fights to come.
It is one of the issues we identified when it comes to the Vitality bot lane here is the over-aggression, taking too many risks, costing them the game maybe here, although I don't think it played through bot lane for what they could have done, but Trouble, we have to start seeing some discipline on this side of the Vitality bot lane, I think.
Oh, I mean, I don't want to sit here and hit on Hylissang, but we did see a few overextensions over in the bot lane. You said we haven't seen Zed for a while. Maybe he played a little bit too over-aggressive to the point where if your Varus cannot step up anymore because you lost a bunch of summoners in these aggressive plays, then later on teamfights become really difficult, especially when you add an Akali that is not necessarily in the best scenario picked to shine in these teamfights.
Yeah, Hilly is what I like to call a habitual line stepper. And this was a pretty good example of him towing the line and then basically just getting bit because he didn't really know when to stop, unfortunately. It hindered a lot of Vitality's ability to actually team fight once we got out of that bottom lane skirmishing phase. And to Mad Lions, the rest of the composition kind of falls apart if bottom lane isn't really ahead. If Carzzy isn't always a threat, then you've got answers for the Akali via the Taliyah, via the Vi, via the Twisted Fate. And Gwen is kind of going to struggle if she doesn't have a diving buddy in this instance. And Daglas wasn't really able to get backline access consistently because Mad Lions were typically in a very solid formation when it comes to defending against those players.
And this is where the Akali pick becomes an issue here, Trouble. When you cannot access this backline, you know that you're not going to be able to do anything with the champion. Side lane also is going to become an issue if you want to play on this side, but here, Akali, Vetheo, I want to see another champion. We've talked about this in Reddit check. Maybe defaulting to Akali in any situation is really not what they need.
I commend him for his courage to be like, you know what, coach, pick me blind Akali right here on 3. I'm just gonna go all in. But we saw it was so difficult to play into the Nautilus, the Senna E as well. So difficult to play over the Taliyah rocks as well that stop all the dashes when you want to get into the backline. We saw him do make his way into the backline and still get one shot because he feels so alone right there. Gwen wasn't able to find her way, as you mentioned as well, Jamada. So maybe that blind Akali might not be it. He has a plethora of champions he can pick, I agree with.
And that's what it bothers me with Vetheo is the fact that he defaults to Akali when on the other side you have rookie mid laner Fresskowy who's innovating. Every pick he's played in playoffs so far has been a unique champion, Jamada, and he shined once again on Taliyah today. Yeah,
it's frustrating on the Vitality side, but for Fresskowy, I mean, he sees the Akali, he's like, well, I've already got a Vi. Sure, why not?
I can make it work.
It's just going to work, isn't it? And there's a lot of other champions that typically Taliyah does really well into on that composition. Really great at stopping divers as a whole. It's not just about the mid lane matchup in isolation. It's shutting down Gwen's ability to get into the back line. It's slowing down picks like the set in terms of you know, when you go through that the padding on the floor, you stun yourself regardless, so you don't get to instantly immediately throw out the haymaker. So it was just all out a very strong pick and a good angle for him, and again opened out onto the map very early on. That was one of the things we spoke about in the pregame as well, for Vitality's point of view, actually trying to shut down Mad Lions by giving them the opportunity to move first on the map. Taliyah obviously thrives at that, and that's what we saw in this game.
Let's take a look at the map to see what kind of improvements and innovation we can expect on the side of Vitality here, Trouble, because as we said, maybe the wrong draft priorities or a not solid enough game plan for the Mad Lions squad we have today. What do you want to see in game 2?
I feel like I want to see the Akali removed here. Either removed or picked in a space where you know you're safe to get into the backline, you have a diving buddy with you, and you can get that help over. But right here, I have to commend Mad because they always pick that Vi in spaces where it just works. Having 2 lanes of priority, you have the TF over in the top lane that's going to run over that Gwen in terms of priority. You've got the Taliyah that's holding Akali at bay as well. It's a pretty free Vi from the side of Mad. And knowing this, I feel like they should have more in mind to try and shut down the priority lanes so that the Vi doesn't become as much of a danger as it was for Mad in this early game.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And my biggest question as well beyond that is also, what are we going to do about the Senna as well? Because whilst, you know, we can definitely hit on picks like the Taliyah and just things like the Vi as well, these are very strong picks that obviously Mad Lions have demonstrated a very high capability of playing. Supa's shown a very large tendency recently to kind of just sit on the center and be very happy in his lane matchup. So I'm curious about whether or not Vitality also considered this an issue. I feel like the 2v2 bot lane was pretty close, and I think on a mechanical level, had Vitality played out differently in a couple of those very fine scenarios, very easily could have won out this 2v2. So we'll see exactly what the priorities are as we head into draft here for game number 2 of the series. K'Sante, Kalista, Maokai all banned away. They will remove the Senna, so that is something that they're going to shake the tree and kind of see what Mad Lions will go towards, and they're just going to take away the Varus.
So Brand is open this time around, though.
Exactly.
And we've pointed this as a champion that both junglers should be careful about. Maybe it's going to be big here. What do you want to see on the side of both Mad Lions Sky and Vitality in the first rotations, Trouble?
I want to see Daglas with a little bit more priority on the map in general. I feel like the Brand is a great pick because you get to clear really quickly, and then you can follow it up with many ganks. And also it's a pretty safe jungler as well. You walk into the jungle, Brand is able to one-shot you now, especially with the ultimate being able to bounce through you as well. So maybe giving a little bit more free movement on Daglas instead of trying to lock down Elyoya, you give him more free movement on the map yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You want to have a little bit of a front line as well to kind of work with. We will get confirmation very soon on what that is locked.
We're going to do this again.
We'll do it again. Even, yeah.
Again.
That might be what happens. But yeah, I imagine, honestly, if it's not Brand, I'll kind of be surprised. But at the same time, for Mad Lions, this could have been a bait. This could be okay, we're going to leave Brand up. We're not going to first pick it. And we'll leave it to you. And it's Vitality that go towards the Rakan Xayah. So the lovers duo in the bottom lane we haven't seen for a little while. And Elyoya will get his hands on Brand. To me, for Vitality to leave the Brand, they must have an answer for it, surely.
I want to put a small asterisk right here, because Fresskowy has played so many champions that it wouldn't surprise me to even see Fresskowy on the Brand in the mid lane. It's a very fast clearing champion versus the things like Azir that could show up on the side of Vitality. It could be a pretty good pick.
Yeah, I think there's always angles for stuff that's pretty creative like that. And the only real issue that Brand has ever had is he's an immobile mage, so he does kind of struggle in terms of getting picked on by ganks. But obviously with the terrain changes, mid lane's a lot wider. We don't tend to see a heavy mid lane focus in ganks these days in pro, and it's normally the bot lane that does take up a lot of that pressure. But for now, second phase of bans, it was the Rell that was locked in, so that should be going over to Daglas. No carry jungle answer here today.
Seeing the way here being banned from Mad Lions, it screams a little bit of Azir to me. Generally, Azir wants to avoid these mages that do shove really quickly and from a distance, like the Xerath, like the Hwei that has been popping up. So seeing the Hwei ban here, it makes me think more and more that this Brand is going to go in towards Elyoya, and maybe we'll see Fresskowy on something like the Azir.
I do agree. And for Vitality now, I'm wondering, I mean, if Mad don't ban away the Azir, they can just kind of default to it for Vetheo. They'll have strong peel, pretty strong engage between the Rakan and the Rell. I think the composition will be relatively rounded out well, but for Mad Lions, I think their answers are pretty decent into it when you've got Varus who can go poke and very easily bully out champions like Xayah, champions like Azir, and Brand can put out so much poke damage. I think the Azir could be a bit of a bait, and I wonder if Vetheo just kind of relies on this Akali yet again. I think this would be a much better spot for it than last game, but this also kind of works as a very similar avenue of hypermobility, very annoying. A lot less about the all-in per se, and a lot more about the poke and trying to ensure that Mad Lions never have the health bar resource to actually work around in dealing with Vitality's composition.
And we've seen the Xayah answer sometimes to the LeBlanc. We know that usually it's Vetheo who likes this kind of approach,
Yeah.
but
maybe he
again,
gets
Mad
to test his own
Lions,
medicine?
yeah, Mad Lions innovating. I like it. Let's
Now,
see if they
of
lock it in,
course-
and yeah.
You need to keep in mind, Rakia, that this LeBlanc can also move on a side lane, so Mad Lions need to keep in mind that they need somebody to match that LeBlanc later on when it comes to LeBlanc going on a side. 1-3-1 is very possible right here for Vitality. You have your R5 for your top lane as well, so Mad Lions need to make sure that they have something to match that with. Potentially, maybe even a blind pick towards the Gnar or something. It's going to be the Jayce.
Okay, so
That's the most
We're
Mad Lions
cooking.
composition
To
I've
me,
seen, honestly.
yeah. I mean, Mad Lions are pretty all on. They're all on brand though. This is likely going to be a on brand. Haha. They're all going to be.
Nice.
It should be a poke composition, is what I'm aiming at here. For me, this is a monster angle for something like Malphite, something like an Ornn. You want to go in as Photon. You want to start fights. It's the complete opposite direction though, and he's answering it with an Akshan.
I actually love this. This is a very potentially 1-3-1 composition coming from Vitality. You're going to have the LeBlanc on the side lane. You're going to have the Akshan on the side lane. Somebody needs to stop both of them. That Xayah steps up on the side lane. He's going to get instantly punished. I'm loving what I see right here for Vitality.
I see range, I see poke. I want to see a lot of space in the early game on the side of both teams, Jamada.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for Vitality, going towards this Akshan now, it turns this composition into a lot more of a, like, yeah, we have to play space. We have to really make sure we're not allowing ourselves to take free damage. I do understand the worry. If you go full dive and you go something like a Malphite, Ornn, whatever, then you run the risk of getting absolutely torn to shreds by the brand. I still feel like this is maybe not the answer, but hey, Photon bringing out something really special here. Maybe he's cooking.
Well, let's see if Mad Lions can advance to the next round as we leave it to Drakos and Dagda for game 2.
Thank you very much, Laure. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know if we want it. Some of these picks are a little bit suspect. I think you guys can have this one back. Enjoy casting it. I am concerned. This Akshan and Jayce matchup makes me nervous.
I agree with Jamada on the desk. I was like, Malphite. This is
Malphite.
the perfect angle.
Keep it
go in.
simple.
Just go in, slap them down,
Yes.
kill them. Cool, you got Renata, but who really cares? Just murder them. And
Again, yeah.
Photon has a 25% win rate on this Akshan. I'm not convinced by this Akshan.
I'm not convinced either. I'm just saying we're caught between a rock and a hard place.
Oh, God.
Just be the rock, and then you're good. You're out. You know what I mean? You're half of the conundrum. All right, here we go. Level 1, line of scrimmage. 5 members top. If you've been playing Earth recently, you'll recognize that sequence of play coming in. But the challenge has been refused, neither side finding their respective opponents for their full-on 5v5, 1v1. 5v5 level 1 is what I was trying to say there. 5v5, 1v1 does not make any sense.
That would be sick, though. Could you imagine watching the Renata versus Rakan?
You just walk up and you take turns, form a circle, start a fight club. That would be hard. I don't know how we would cast that. The rules of that make it very technically difficult.
Calist is cheating because you get level 6, you can bring him in and out and get more
that's
CC,
true.
you know, yeah.
Calista banned in the fight club for sure.
Jarvan can't plant his
That's
E.
rule
Yeah.
0. Before we even get to rule 1, Calista's banned, rule 0. All right, Mad Lions Koi will finally return. So I think our concerns from the draft with something as volatile as the Akshan is that while it will certainly give Photon more agency than he had perhaps in the previous game, if you start to lose it all, this lane is impossible. The same is, however, true for Myrwn. While he will have the luxury of falling back on Jayce poke, perhaps Photon will just not let him play the game, which so far is the story. His controller has been unplugged. His little brother says, "Nah, don't worry, you are playing the game," but he's not, I assure you. We aren't going to put attached sound for that. It was 2BM with the sound. We'll get that up momentarily.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of trading very heavily. I mean, Photon, nice job to get the level 1 advantage and keep, well, now Myrwn has the TP in, and honestly, you can kind of go for a rinse and repeat here if you want to as Photon. You got level 2, try and push Myrwn off the wave again. Bot lane as well. Hilly already burning the Ignite to try and get that advantage against Supa. But when you look at where Daglas is on the map, it looks like he might be going for a topside play instead of actually moving down towards that bottom half of the map. So maybe looking for something sneaky on towards Myrwn.
Daglas showing his face on the top side of the map. In a matchup that I was really ready to be all about the bot lane, there's a surprising amount of topside focus, but when you have an Akshan, it does make a certain amount of sense. Myrwn hasn't seen a creep in months. Forgot what the face of a minion looks like. Not allowed to approach the wave anymore.
Oh.
Elyoya here to cover, though, is big. It's now a 2v2 topside. Elyoya gonna back away here. Photon gonna wander through, and now it's Elyoya who's the target, forced to flash back to safety. Good play from Vitality. Nice bit of incremental advantage there. We're not able to dive Myrwn. We're not able to kill him while he was trapped on level 1, but can now move in, take a bit of this jungle.
Yeah, I'm curious now to see what the game plan is for Xayah, because I think if you're Elyoya, you immediately sprint into this bot side jungle to try and get some of the back, especially with Supa and Alvaro having push here, but I think Supa would like to go for a reset, but good poke onto Carzzy and Hilly. Maybe they feel fine to stay.
Could be all right. Of course, you expect the Renata Varus to take over in the early laning phase, especially when you see the Hail of Blades picked up by the Varus, indicating a lethality build path. I said Carzzy opting for a longsword early on. You know, in theory, gives him a lot more upfront sustain because triple pots are pretty easily just going to outvalue the pretty minuscule lifesteal of Adorans. That said, he's already burned through, I would assume, 3 of them, but I didn't see the start, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was 3, and it's also the biscuits there as well. And I think a lot of this is just to try and, I was going to say get control of the wave. Nice job from Hilly to burn the flash there. So as long as they can keep pressure on this bot side, you can see that Elyoya is already on the Grom. Dagda's going to try and steal, did smite, but I'm not sure if he got them. I didn't see there.
Alrighty. Daglas. Wandering in again, just fishing for these setups, looking for the angle into the bot side of the map. Scuttlecry will be picked up here. At this point, Elyoya just clearing through. However, no setup going to come through. And you know what I'll say is quiet early game. Neither support has died yet, which is very uncharacteristic of what I come to understand from this matchup.
Yeah, I think that's where, I think that's a bit of a BM, but I think as well the fact that like you have the opportunity there to burn the flash on towards Supa means you've got the setup you can look for. Daglas will have the flash that he can try and look for, which would be wonderful, but I think a lot of pressure up towards this top side because I think Photon will need help on this pick, and it's kind of the downside is that like Carzzy and Hilly, I think, will have to try and fish for their own advantages in that, especially as it looks like the wave going to crash again. Elyoya, is he going to drop camps here to try and get up there? Will be spotted, so Elyoya may already feel the need because you can see, look at Vetheo, look at Hilly. They're starting to move more members up here. May just be a Void Grub's angle, but they're really trying to pull Myrwn behind here.
Operation Bully Myrwn. Fully committed, but he's just going to try to go in and smack Photon. Tower aggro taken by Daglas, luckily. Vetheo on the way in as well. Elyoya going to stun and stop the LeBlanc from getting in there. Myrwn flash out from the knockup. Hylissang now stepping out. TP committed to the top side here, but Myrwn gives up his flash. That's TP from Fresskowy. Overall, well played from Koi to weather the storm there, but isn't going to hurt too much for Vitality at all.
Daglas can't stick around here. There he goes, crash down over the wall. So Fresskowy having the level 6 and also with Alvaro here, you do have to be careful of just the all-in potential that could come through, but they're just going to end up backing away. Nicely done there by Myrwn to survive that, because that was a lot of pressure. Daglas tried to predict the flash away from Myrwn on the Q, but doesn't end up landing it, and then Myrwn able to survive a huge amount of that. So will actually be Daglas now going back towards the Void Grubs, trying to pick it up, but on the bottom lane.
He's getting run down here. Flash in. Excellent setup now coming in from Carzzy. Trade back from Supa. Big damage. Hail of Blades. He just maths better.
Mate, he didn't even use it. He still got the heal. He was just like, I don't care. Show me what you got, Supa. That was steal. That man was not worried in the slightest on that play.
Damn. Can we get it again? Can we? One more time.
For the people in the back.
For the people in the... What? Yeah, here we go. Okay. What? Okay, so auto, 1 stack, 2 stack, 3 stack, full charge melee range kill. Just Varus damage. Yeah. There's nothing fancy. This man, this like furious bird woman is clawing his eyes out. And he's like, all right, well, there's 1, and then there's like 2, and then there's like 3, and he just boom.
But that was the thing. I think with the way that Supa was positioning, you only got 3 of the pullback feathers from Carzzy, so didn't actually get a huge amount of the damage off that up front. And I think that's why Supa was like, cool, I'm just going to go aggressive on this, because after that, you don't have a huge amount left in the tank. It's just pure auto attack. So nicely done there by Supa.
Which, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I would have expected that Carzzy would win, but he only has the Noon Quiver, which to the time was versus the Serrated Dirk. And just a reminder of why Varus is such a high priority to pick. One of the viable builds with him is this lethality build. And you hit so damn hard. Usually I'm watching, you know, the fadeaway arrows, not the melee range 3-stack empowered blighted quiver piercing arrow.
Yeah, it does a lot. When you get those blighted stacks, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Plus as well, like, the fact you get your rotation up quicker as well, so for every blight stack you get cooldown on your abilities. Like, it's such a nice feedback loop on those abilities. So
Yeah,
nice
Varus.
done by Supa.
Great. You know, Varus to me is like Kaisa before Kaisa in a lot of ways. Just has that nice synergy in the kit that makes everything feel so good together. And now it's pretty impossible for Carzzy to do anything. He burned his flash, but Vetheo now going in. Myrwn again being bullied. This is comeuppance, but it doesn't feel fair. The name doesn't feel fair. Fresskowy isolated off to the side. Elyoya, you're not going to be able to find much. So as good as bot lane is going, as much as Supa was just outplaying individually 1v1, Operation Make Myrwn's life miserable so far has been successful. That's a 1k gold lead. Myrwn's back, but so was Daglas. That's a Q flash into an ult. More damage now coming in. Akshan throwing down. Myrwn desperate to get a kill back. One last tower shot not going to come in. Photon can't overextend here. He's just instantly going to flash out. He gets another. Fresskowy on the way up. Is he willing to ult in? He is. Trying to follow it up, but the stun is there. Vetheo going to go in to try to get the damage down. Roots now coming through. Photon does a lot of work here. Red buff for Elyoya. How much damage can the brand do? Trying to get away. Passive ticking away. The blaze not quite enough to finish him. Elyoya now going to be in trouble. Vetheo playing on the edge here. That's one quick kill. Fresskowy running. W. Ooh, Daglas. On the edge. What happened between game 1 and game 2? Clearly they identified going to bot was the problem. Going top is working fantastically. Supa just continuing to throw down damage. Hylissang's dead. That looks more like game 1.
And he still has heal. So Supa still going to be fine off the back of that. So again, bot lane, Supa and Alvaro doing a great job. But here, yeah, as you say, bully Myrwn. He tries to stay in the creep line here, but just barely pushes forward. So ends up taking a little bit more damage. He would have gone down anyway, but might have been able to get a little bit more damage off. And then, what are you going to do here? Daglas already in position. Elyoya just wasn't quite there. Fresskowy's trying to move up here to get the follow-up, but just a bit slow on the play. And then again, you go in hyper aggressive here. Daglas, good turnaround, has the shield. Or doesn't get the shield, sorry, because it's the whatever it is, knock up. So you're able to get out of that. And then Elyoya tries to get the kill onto Photon, but Photon just ends up waiting it out, doesn't end up dying. And then the AP LeBlanc here, getting work here with the spells. And look, I mean, I gotta see how much health Daglas has. Like, that looks like nothing. But here we go on picture-in-picture.
Picture-in-picture, Hylissang again committing for the fight. Vetheo getting chunked out there. Myrwn now looking to knock back here. Desperate to get the 1v1 back. Oh! Oh! Now that you're on your lonesome, you're not so tough! Myrwn, unfazed, I take it back. He did not give a damn. He does not mind being bullied and shut down. Still a massive lead for Photon. But nice turnaround on that play for Myrwn.
And Supa now, trying to finish with Elyoya. Was trying to see if he could get the ultimate there, but now Carzzy kind of left on his own. So a lot of this here is going to be trying to get pop push in towards Dragon. But it'd be Vitality trying to pressure Fresskowy in the mid lane so then they can try and answer to a lot of that pressure. But both teams just backing away here. Nobody really feeling comfortable to immediately start. Although as I say that, looks like Daglas moving in.
On the way in, as you highlighted, Supa, good bit of poke on the Carzzy. Carzzy's going to have a tough time staying here. Might be forced to use the ultimate just to survive.
I think Vitality should be okay. Look at where Vetheo's position. Good ward there from Alvaro to try and spot that out. Level 6 not hit by Alvaro yet is actually a pretty big win for Vitality. So I think they're just trying to play off that with Hilly having that access to the ultimate and Photon being.
Definitely are. Vitality first setup, and of course, when Photon is there, it's hard to walk up. You know, Blade of the Rune King, it's not the burstiest item in the game, but if you come in and you fail your engage at all, Akshan will take over a fight, and just clean play.
Yep.
From Myrwn. Jump over, knock back into the tower, body block to stop, you know,
the swing.
Action hero escape, the heroic swing. And that 500 gold shutdown, big. Look at him! How can you not love him? Oh, I respect to Photon for getting that lead, but respect to Myrwn for finding it back. Ult flash back to safety. Supa gonna follow up with an ult of his own. That should just be one dead jungler. Now trying to follow up on Carzzy as well. Carzzy laying down the feathers, but nothing to come from it. Mad Lions Koi still holding on to a 1K gold lead.
And in the grand scheme of things, look, Photon, yes, he has a lead in top side, but it's not really much to right home about. Carzzy about to die on blocks.
Okay, feathers are gonna fly. Carzzy's gonna go right back down, and I don't think there's really anything he could do here. Hylissang gonna come and try to save him, but it might just set up for 2 deaths there. Alvaro still standing for a brief moment. Vetheo now dashing out to safety. Chains fully connecting. Come up, it's coming in, but not finishing the job. Photon getting the extra movement speed from the Blade of the Rune King, going invisible. This happened to me once. Laure stole a Kit Kat. Now Photon going in, looking to steal a little bit more than that. Vetheo already finding a kill. That's a shutdown.
He's still fishing.
Elyoya trying to get out. The extra movement speed now coming in. Hylissang, that's a nice knock-up to start it off. Vitality. And these extended plays, another action swing. Photon will not be stopped. Will now make it out to safety as well. This game is absolute chaos.
But that's what happens when you get a draft like this. I mean, you want to be able to try and find these early skirmishes with Vetheo, so you're trying to play for this, which they've successfully done on Vitality, so Vetheo is huge. But you've also got like, okay, let's try and get Photon in. Let's see if we can try and use that invisibility to get some plays. But as Mad Lions Koi, if you try to make a fight happen and it doesn't work out, you're so squishy. You've so little when it comes to like opportunities for cooldowns to come back up that you're able to turn around. So Alvaro, this ultimate needs to be massive when it gets to these fights, and unfortunately here, it only connects onto Daglas. Yep. And now that is your only tool to stop some of the engage that comes through. Now look, don't get me wrong, I think this was a good play. I think Mad Lions Koi, if you kind of just called it here, should have been fine. You push in, you look for the tower, look for more plates, but trying to keep Carzzy out of commission here doesn't quite end up working out, thanks to that nice ultimate. Fresskowy doesn't feel comfortable go in, but now he's underneath the tower. Vetheo's here, and you've kind of used everything with Photon coming down as well. There's just more members of Vitality in the picture to make sure they're able to chase you down slowly but sure.
Yep. You see the picture as well.
Didn't catch that.
Pressure on the top side coming in, and Vetheo is so strong. He was strong before the shutdown. He's even stronger now. He's got about a 2K individual gold lead you'll see coming out of this play. And once you fall behind in a play, for either of these teams, to be honest with you, the chase potential of these lineups is a terrifying prospect with these picks like LeBlanc and the Akshan.
But now like 4 kills onto this LeBlanc. Like she goes through side lanes, 9 stacks in the Dark Seal. She one-shots pretty much everyone on Mad Lions Koi. So very quickly you're gonna have to start looking for opportunities to get some magic resist into your kit so you can survive those side lanes. And then as well, like I'm surprised kind of not to see some early threads coming through here to try and help you out in that regard. But honestly, I think Vetheo at this stage is just going to be too big of a threat now from Mad Lions Koi, even though you got this early aggression for Supa. Trying to contest on towards objectives with the amount of side lane control Vetheo has is going to make it very hard, as long as the rest of Vitality play it safe.
And the big thing here is that your counter pick into the LeBlanc mid lane, while it hasn't fared that well, we've seen that it can be good. But you put yourself in a position now where you're playing against the LeBlanc with no reliable hard CC. As long as LeBlanc has one distortion up at all times, no one on this team can lock her down ever, right? And that makes her a very terrifying prospect to try and deal with, and certainly it would have been frustrating. You know, in an even game state, she just would have been an annoyance, but at 4-0-1, Vetheo is impossible to deal with unless you just outplay him, unless you just predict his movement.
But with no vision, we don't even know he's there, and that's where you're going to see a lot of this threat now from Vitality, like bringing Vetheo into these moments where here, you can pop over a wall, quick Q, or Q, and then your E to pop everything, and you just one-shot someone and just distortion back, safe as sound. So this is where Mad Lions Koi are going to struggle to get vision. And you can see slowly checking, using what tools they have available with like the Void Seeker to just make sure no one's in a bush as they start to move in. Now the video shows on bot wave, they'll be a little bit more cognizant of, hey, we can actually push in and clear out this vision control.
And of course, the gold is very close. The big thing to keep in mind here is that Vetheo on the LeBlanc is a much easier champion to kind of build leads and to extend leads with than I think Supa on this Varus is going to be, just because of how many champions there are that can get on top of that lethality Varus, and Akshan can come from the flank. And so the pressure is on Mad Lions Koi to try and leverage this lead for Supa to buy themselves time and to get them back in the game. Because you take a look at Fresskowy, he is so far behind. He is just not a threat on his own. Myrwn's been put so far behind. You saw the super focused effort to put him down in the dirt. Of course, he brought some of that back, but it's just a tricky game for Mad Lions Koi to navigate now. They can't afford to pick any more bad fights. It's 2 Drakes for Vitality, 6, of course, with the Grub buff as well, and Vitality set up now. Take over more and more of the map as they'll knock down the spot lane tower pretty effortlessly.
Kind of surprised to see the Profane Hydra here for Myrwn in the top side, just to help with added like wave clear and stuff. But traditionally you'd see like the Yomus and Opportunity, and you go for that full poke build. So I mean, he will get a little bit of like pushing power, as you can see here, which helps out. And I think that's a lot of the idea here against Photon. But yeah, just interested to see it.
You also, while you don't get the sustain of something like Ravenous, you get a lot of burst with Profane. If you activate it when they're actually under the health threshold, it does do a lot of damage. And of course, the all-in burst of Jayce on a flank late game isn't the bigger portion of what people think about. People mostly think about empowered shock blasts. So it is odd. I see what you're saying, because you have to be in melee range, right, to get the Hydra active.
I think it's against Photon, right? It's like, hey, I can potentially one-shot you if I find you. Elyoya doesn't find him as Photon manages to skedaddle, but yeah, I think that's probably where a lot of that is coming from, like push plus one-shot potential.
And I believe he did it last time we saw him play Jayce as well. Really does seem to like this item. Smooth build path as well. Brutalizer is a little bit awkward, obviously, with the glowing moat in it, but team had a very easy item to pick up, and opponents do gel together nicely. I will say, I feel like no one misses old Eclipse with Omnivamp more than Jayce. It's just like with the loss of Eclipse with Omnivamp and then Divine Sunderer, there are so many top laners who are like, what do I do?
Who am I?
I had 2 perfect items, depending on what I wanted to do.
GB is silently crying for Shyvana somewhere.
Yeah. He's gonna be like, oh nah guys, it's fine. I built Triforce and Hullbreaker still, and it's not as good. I go 0-9 and I split push, and I've learned from the boss and just make it work. It's fine, guys. We're not traumatized. Guldborg is slow shit on it. You can check his solo queue history and make your own judgments.
They're probably not going to be favorable.
Well, no, I mean, we're just making assumptions here, Rob. We shouldn't impart our biases onto the audience. Maybe they really like Guldborg's feed for success Shyvana strategy. The opposing top laners definitely do. All right. We're almost to 20 minutes. Baron, of course, going to be on the table. The big thing for both of these lineups is that there isn't necessarily the best really beefy frontliner. The good news for Vitality is they do have Daglas, the tankiest person in this entire game. So someone can eat at least a little bit of Baron damage, but while both sides will burst Baron down incredibly quickly, they're going to be very vulnerable in the process.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is going to come down to like how you manage your side waves here. So for Vitality, you've got the opportunity here to like Vetheo to push in. Eventually, this is going to crash onto the tier 2, and they're kind of moving Photon as this unseen threat between both mid and top. But I see you will have to deal with that bot wave at some stage, and I think that's why you're seeing by the rest of Madeline Square not going towards that top side. They're like, look, we don't see Photon on the map. There's nobody pressuring that bot wave, so there is definitely a 5-man stack here for Vitality. And you see Madeline's kind of reading this correctly, but do need to back it on up just a smidge and let Jayce clear at that top side.
Yeah. And it's really hard because, again, Vetheo on his own is so difficult to match. The unknown element of Photon makes it so tricky.
Really? Not a good flank position here. I don't know, though. Again, I think you're better off trying to push mid with Carzzy here and actually keep Vetheo on the side lane, because as long as you can keep a lot of threat up, you can actually shift Hilly into the jungle with Daglas, and then you've got the opportunity for like Vetheo to pop over wall, one shot, try and play off of that, push out Madeline's Koi of their jungle, and like establishing vision control on this top side is massive to allow Vetheo to do their thing. But they're not really getting that opportunity, and they're not really, like, as you can see now, Photon has to go and push out bot wave, which means then top side of the map needs to reset because they can't be overextended with Madeline's Koi having top side pressure. 50 seconds now until the dragon as well means that realistically we're more on like all gather mid to contest mid wave before we push out. So I think you're kind of missing windows here as Vitality to extend your lead.
It definitely feels like we're lockstep into the turn-based portion of League of Legends that we often see in the mid game. Get mid push, Baron vision, enemy team does the same, they clear your vision, you kind of just do that ad nauseum until someone can find a greater edge. But in the defense of Vitality here, Vetheo did just back. He bought Shadow Flame. So there's an argument to say this is their setup, they push, they get vision, he backs, gets his second item. Maybe now we see them start to play more aggressively around these objectives. Or maybe they just don't feel like they're in a position to try and force a greater edge here, to risk Baron, to go for anything more crazy, and instead are just going to wait for the dragon respawn in 15 seconds.
Yeah, I do think for Madeline's Koi, waiting as like second entry has its benefits, but also it's like null factors. Because if you try to face check a lot of what Vitality have, not the best of times, right? But if you can sit at the back of the pit and just free fire with all this poke, you're going to be in a great spot. So I think it's kind of like Madeline's Koi taking it somewhat slow, and especially with, you can see the amount of blue trinkets that they have, it's just a case of, all right, blue trinket our way through to make sure we're going to be safe. But Vitality have already burst this out. It looks like Madeline's Koi not really going to check it. They're just going to move their vision towards the top side and try and fish for Baron opportunities.
No. Would be an aggressive call, but Mad Lions Koi love aggressive calls. Supa trying to clear the wave as quickly as possible with the piercing arrow. Generally favored over Carzzy when it comes to wave clear, just because of usually having first access. But Hylissang now going to try to kick the fight off. Supa locked up, but that was not it. Supa's going to punish him for it. Goodbye, Hilly. Now Vetheo can come over the wall, but they're investing in a lost play. Vitality overcommitting resources, and before I think it might have been crazy for Mad Lions Core to try and force the Baron. It's getting less crazy, Dagda.
As long as this poke lands, yeah, 100%. Vetheo will have the TP to come back in, though. So again, I think you play off this frontline vision as Vitality try to clear it. Oh, where is
over
this?
The wall, immediate stun. That's one squishy man, easy target. Ezio Auditore just gone. Mad Lions Koi now just focus on the objective here. Daglas can try to get into the pit, but they should be able to burst him out. Vetheo is the big threat, though. Eyes on the LeBlanc. How much damage can she get down? Vitality waiting, hovering around the edge here. Myrwn just trying to keep eyes on Daglas. Maybe hoping for the pit. 4K getting lower. Mad Lions Core, are they willing to go for the 50-50 here? Daglas committing. Q-Flash not going to connect. Now getting knocked back to the pit. It's getting lower and lower. Vetheo going in. He just bursts down enemy mid laner. Varus Q going to try to finish the job off. Baron secured by the side of Mad Lions Koi. Vitality managed to get one, but Carzzy now backstepping. Ooh, Feather's not going to connect there. Arrows flying in. Myrwn flying in. Mad Lions Koi get the Baron. They find some kills, but there's a TP behind. Akshan on the way in. Photon going invisible. If he kills Myrwn, he'll get his teammates back. Now he's trying to kill Supa, but the body block should just come in. Not that much damage. So the play is going to fizzle. Nothing else left on the map. Mad Lions Koi will recall, tempering their own aggression. Thought about going back in, and that's huge. That's a big gold lead. Yes, there's a concern about Soul in 3 minutes, but Mad Lions Koi now finally in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I mean, there was multiple different parts that started to move in that. So as Hilly went for that initial engage, it looked a little bit funky, but Alvaro actually got a great ultimate back over towards Vetheo. So a lot of that was Hilly goes in, sets up for Vetheo, pop, one-shot someone and come on out. Vetheo now, though, will need to try and escape with Hylissang, which they should be able to do here. But it meant that as we start to maybe get a replay, no, this is going to be after, you still end up with Hilly dying, and then Mad Lions Koi feel comfortable enough to go for this. Yes, Vetheo will get the one shot on towards Fresskowy on the top side. We can see Mad Lions Koi trying to play off Myrwn's pressure, and Daglas just tries to play this too quickly. Should have just waited for Hilly, should have waited for like a double setup where you're able to actually set up for Carzzy here, but again, with the threat of Myrwn off to the side, Carzzy can't really get into this fight, so you end up with Daglas overextended. Hilly's trying to keep Carzzy in check. Baron goes the way of Mad Lions Koi, and Vetheo's just waiting on cooldowns before he can really start to play this. And then Mad Lions Koi eventually decides, you know what, we can actually just play off the bot side away from Vetheo and a lot of that threat that Vitality had.
Yep. Credit to Mad Lions Koi. I mean, Elyoya winning the 50-50 is big there.
Massive.
You know, at the end of the day, outside of the Baron, the play was already favoring Mad Lions Koi, but if you'd lost 50-50, it certainly would have fallen apart. Supa has overstepped for a brief moment, but the instant follow-up is there! Who's getting the comeuppance now? Good damage from Supa on the backline again, uncontested. Oh, hostile takeover going to connect on the Carzzy as he lands, and the cleanse already gone. Fresskowy coming in from the backside, a killer instinct with a shutdown. Carzzy at least managing to take Supa out of the equation. Fresskowy still in touch, Hylissang running. It's a slaughter in the mid lane, only Vetheo left standing. Triple kill for Fresskowy.
Nice idea, but they cannot kill Supa. The Alvaro was there, you get the heal from Supa to keep Elyoya alive as well. And Mad Lions Koi, what looked like a poor position for them to be in, now suddenly find themselves with a massive advantage in this game.
Definitely do. I mean, think back to earlier in this game, almost 1K at like 10 minutes for the Akshan. Myrwn unplayable. He was level 1 for the first 5 minutes of the game, but now he's the one with the massive lead. And you see the start of the play here, it looks pretty good, but the follow-up is so delayed from the rest of the team.
Massively so, and even like Carzzy, you can see playing very far back because they just have no vision in that jungle as to where Mad Lions Koi are. So the second they see that Mad Lions Koi are willing to fight, there's kind of that hesitation there and leaves the opportunity for Mad Lions Koi to move members into position. Alvaro gets that great ultimate coming over the sides, and Fresskowy repositioning to get access to Carzzy. Just perfect. And Vetheo, look, yes, he is trying his damnedest to get some sort of pressure onto this, but it's kind of a little bit too little too late at this stage. Like, you're not finding those windows to push inside lane so you can threaten with Vetheo for a one-shot, to work with Photon by over stacking in the side lane. Now Mad Lions Koi control the map. They're the ones that can get down the vision. They can look for picks onto Hilly again, and he's going to be gone.
Damage. Nowhere for him to go, bouncing back and forth between he and Elyoya. The shock blast to finish the job.
The actual comeuppance in this game.
Oh.
Oh.
Pause there. Something maybe not working as intended for Hylissang. We'll find out as we get more information. Flash, it appears, was up and available. Maybe he had tried to use it. I don't know.
Because that's pretty big. Like, if Hylissang dies there, you're like, well, we're going to get bot tower. Makes it very, very difficult for you to try and make any sort of other play, because Daglas doesn't have his flash up just yet. Maybe he could try and threaten, but he's also in that bot side jungle trying to support Photon. Sorry, in the top end of the map. And if that's kind of the position you're in, it feels very, very quick for Mad Lions Koi with the amount of damage they have to just rip through these structures. So
yep.
I have to see exactly what happens. But honestly, I think this is kind of... It's turning into a bit of a lost cause for Vitality. They had their opportunity to try and play through Vetheo, but unable to get control over the wave states the way that they wanted, trying to rush plays.
Yeah, it's really tough because I think that they were in a position where they felt so favored and their path to success felt so clear, with Photon kind of having this huge edge on the top side, the scaling of the Jayce delayed, with Vetheo then on the back of a lot of those early fights getting really, really strong. But credit to Mad Lions Koi, and a bit of a discredit to Vitality here, but Vetheo really just wasn't set up to take over in a lot of those fights. And yes, it was some excellent disengages, some excellent use of CC from Mad Lions Koi, and specifically Alvaro in the play that you highlighted, where Hylissang goes in and the follow-up is denied, that allowed Mad Lions Koi to get the Baron, to really take over. And now there's just, in a composition where everyone is so squishy and there's such limited access to CC, deficits are really deadly.
Big time. And I think this is where the fact that Supa was able to get that lead against Carzzy in the bot lane is just mounting more and more for Mad Lions Koi. Like, Supa's getting a ton of pressure over the mid lane, which makes it very difficult for Vetheo to try and play at those side lanes. You're opening up opportunities for Poke to come through. I mean, even the burst damage that he has is absolutely insane. So it's been a bit of an insane one here for Mad Lions Koi. It just... Yep. It's been so back and forth, but they just feel like they have the better understanding of how to play out their mid game.
Yeah. Refs are reviewing the shadow play footage, and we'll kind of keep you posted on everything else that's happening, but have at least a little bit longer. Yeah, I'll be honest, it's tricky. I think the big thing for me here is that Vitality's bot lane, almost as a whole, it feels like sometimes just over-forcing in ways that they maybe don't need to. And while I respect sometimes when you're in a losing position that you have to make a play to try and win. You know, you have to make the play that wins you the game instead of stops you from losing, you know, to try to turn the things in your favor. Sometimes they're making those plays when they don't need to, and you saw that from Carzzy on the bottom side against Supa. And credit to Supa, he played the Arlen really well, but Carzzy clearly just not respecting the damage of that lethality Varus, because that was an advantage that was not significant really until that point where Carzzy tried to push for more.
Yeah, I mean, even the fact that Supa didn't have to burn the heal in that one kind of showed you the misread that Carzzy had on that play, trying to play heavily for that. But I don't know what the thought process really was from Vitality, because it feels like both games here, they've tried to play hyper-aggressive on the bot side. I think Supa and Alvaro, credit to them. Like, the two new guys coming into the league, they have been incredibly good at outplaying a lot of aggression that we've seen from teams that try to put pressure there. And even then in the 2v2, they've been exceptional. And this is a bot lane that has really stamped their name on the LEC as a bot lane you have to fear, and Vitality just didn't come in with the respect that they needed to.
Yeah. Of course, refs are currently reviewing a specific interaction that was reported as an issue. Don't have the interaction for you, but we'll keep you updated as I learn more. So in the meantime, we're vibing.
It's a bit heartbreaking if you are on the Vitality side, because a pause at this stage where this game is starting to slip away from you. This is the game that you need to win if you want to try and keep yourself in our winter playoffs. And to be in the position where a potential pause here disrupts like trying to keep your head up as this goes through and the refs are reviewing is going to be very tough. So I feel for Vitality in this one.
Yeah, and it was a reported issue with the blast cone interaction.
Okay.
Maybe if we get a chance, we could look at the replay of the sequence, see if we see anything. Of course, we're not refs. We're not league officials. We'll trust their judgment on the problem. Yeah, I mean, this is a high stakes game, right? We are on the last day of best of threes. Both, you know, we've got 4 teams playing today. 2 teams are going to make it through to best of 5s. 2 teams are going to get knocked out. Cadro can't start the game, guys. I'm sorry, he does not have that power. But the analyst desk can talk about the game, and that's going to have to do it for us for here on the caster desk. Go ahead, gang.
Pedro. Always stopping the game, man. He can't help it. It sucks to be in this situation when you're on the verge of being eliminated here. That's the word.
Sorry, I can't take you
audience.
I'm sorry.
They should keep on going. Pedro, start the game, please.
Please.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate situation, honestly, when you're facing elimination. I have audio issues, but you can fix this. Of course, no problem.
I have them as well.
Yeah, you said that you had an idea on what the bug might be.
Yeah, and they were mentioning it there on cast as well. It's to do with Hylissang going up in the air on the blast cone.
Well, he's supposed to go up in the air, but
that's
not
the
straight
point.
up.
It's part of the kill of the champion.
He's definitely supposed to go up in the air, but obviously he went up in place.
A bit too much, okay.
And as we were leaving to come here to the desk, Medic said, as Medic is our resident
He's a
Rakan
Rakan
expert,
master, yeah.
Yeah, that because Rakan's auto attack range is so specific on blast cones, if you don't walk in a little bit before you auto attack a blast cone, it will just send you up in the air. Now, whatever the whatever happens from the result of this pause, we'll have to see.
We'll see what the refs have to say
Exactly,
about
because
this.
at the end of the day, it's about their decision. But yeah, it's definitely a bit of an awkward one, especially in a situation like this where you're potentially about to be eliminated, tensions are high. It's worth the pause, right? You have to be like, okay, is this intended? Is this not intended? It's better to actually get out of the way instead of just letting it slide and then you find out after it is a bug.
I'm looking at the gold diff, at the kills and everything, the state of the map right now. If you guys want to see on my iPad, of course.
Sure.
Come over here.
I'm coming, brother.
It is a close game.
Yeah.
It is a close game, and I would like to point out yeah, let's group up here. We were talking about how Vetheo has to be the clutch factor in this Vitality lineup with his LeBlanc pick. What do you think of this and the way he's been playing?
Yeah, I mean, I was already setting it up for the post-game out there, where it's like, well, the only hope I'm really looking at right now is Vetheo. I thought Photon had the chance for it in the beginning with how much pressure had been giving to the top side until, well, he got outplayed, and then he also, well, no, straight up outplayed in top lane when he went for the dive, and Myrwn actually killed him. And then slowly but surely, they just managed to make sure he wasn't a threat anymore on the side lane. So we are at a point in the game right now that Vetheo is the only threat on Vitality. Everyone else is pretty much falling behind, and it is looking very dire for them.
And for me, the main issue I have with poke composition when I look at this side of Mad Lions is that you need to get ahead. You need to always have the right vision setups. And usually when you have this kind of setup, it's pretty weird to fall behind in game. And I don't know, when I look at the situation here for them, if they keep on going like this, advancing the vision lines, it's going to be hard for Vetheo to find these skirmishes that he's looking for.
Yeah, and that's
why
why
you can still play side lane.
Yeah, you can still play side lane, but when you're behind, you're always going to be down trading, right? That's kind of the trade-off you make in a situation like this.
Yeah.
And it's kind of why, for me, I was calling for an engage tank from the top lane ahead of the Akshan, which we landed on. Not that it's been doing too poorly, but more in the sense of the one thing poke compositions have, it's like that old triangle that we used to talk about, where it's like poke comps would get beaten typically by engage compositions, and you had all of the tools already there. You had the Rakan, you had the Rell off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure that's what it was for Daglas this game.
Yeah.
If you stack another engage tool on top of it, then it gets very, very difficult to play out.
Thank you, GB.
Thank you, GB.
I missed that information.
Yeah.
The league officials have confirmed, of course, the bug, and we are offering Vitality a chrono break, and they have accepted. So we're getting there.
Yeah, I think we have the Pro View as well actually available for
we can check it
Hylissang.
out.
Okay.
So you can have a look at what it currently looks like right now. So as we all know with blast cones, sometimes you will go straight up in the air, but that is only if you're standing in the middle of it and you hit it, right? So as a range champion there, being on the edge of it while hitting it, he went up in the air. And I will say, this has happened to me as well, and I can't chrono break my solo queue games.
Exactly.
That's
there's no indicator as well.
Sorry.
there's no indicator here, and I think this is probably the crux of the decision. With there being no indicator, he doesn't know where he's gonna go either.
No.
So yeah, definitely makes sense that we've reached this decision.
So Medic was right in the back.
Medic was right in the green room.
I mean, he knows he's champion.
He does.
He does. It's like the one champion he knows.
Do you want to talk about it?
Do you want to talk about it, Jimmy?
No, I'm just calling it out when he's not able to make an argument against me.
Me not
That's
being
how
an
you
OTP
win.
at all.
Excuse me?
I can criticize
I have
your
two
champion.
different accounts at Masters on two different roles.
I have two different champions.
But I have to defend myself when I'm getting attacked.
Sure.
Yeah.
How much do you think this kind of event can weigh in the players' heads when again they're facing elimination on the side of Vitality? Even though they get a chrono break here, you have a rookie jungler. they're down 1 game here. I'm just wondering what kind of impact it can have on them.
I mean, fortunately, this pause wasn't particularly long. I think we've only been paused for maybe 10 minutes or so. So it's not one of the long Fnatic pauses, thankfully.
That's next series.
That's next
Shout out
series.
to
That's next series.
one of the fans has
shout out
the
to that
sign
one
ready.
fan with the sign,
already,
exactly. But hopefully their head should still be in the game, right? They've still got Vetheo to play around. It's still going to be very difficult no matter what. This is a hard game state to outplay your way out of. The onus really is on Mad Lions to continue to push that vision line forward, like you were saying, and make it very difficult to be engaged on by Vitality here this game.
A bit of context if you guys are joining us right now. We are working on initiating a chrono break in Game 2 of Mad Lions Koi versus Vitality, and we'll be chrono breaking to 26 minutes 54. That's precise. What happened exactly?
That was very dramatic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, we will resume shortly once we take care of this. Who is in the best position to take the game?
I mean, right now it's Mad Lions, I would argue.
Are they
I think, yeah, I think that.
I see Drake stacking up on the side of Vitality.
Yeah,
I don't know, they're not too far behind.
That's
6K
true,
gold.
but I also kind of see them kind of slipping away just a little bit, and I think that the bot lane's quite far behind, and I see that playing into Jayce as well, and a Varus that kind of creates a lot of space in terms of setting up, and I think it becomes difficult for Vetheo to find these angles. I think you're right with the vision coverage. I think Vetheo really will have to 1v9 in this game, find some good vision lines where he'll actually be able to come from fog of war, poke a little bit, not necessarily go for full all-in, but slowly but surely chipping away at them. That's how we usually see LeBlanc works in pro play. The problem is, once again, you're playing against the Jayce, you're playing against that Varus, it's going to be difficult dealing with.
I will challenge you with the Carzzy comfort zone, starting usually between 30 and 35 minutes in game. Does he have the kind of champions to make magic happen here? Because we've seen him with late game champions.
I'm looking at you, Jamada.
It's Xayah into poke.
Which is, if you don't know, not the greatest.
Yeah, which, as GB has just very plainly put it, it's not fantastic. It's really, really hard to actually get the space into auto attack. And I feel like Mad Lions have played out their range quite well. And even when they have been aggressed on, they've done a fantastic job at picking out their targets very, very quickly, defending whoever's been actually jumped on. There was that one particular fight right in the mid lane between the chicken camp and the mid lane wall, where I want to say it was Elyoya just wasn't dying himself, just kept on going back up because of all of the shielding and all of the peel available. So yeah, to me, Mad Lions, they've done a really good job of basically shutting down Carzzy, but at the same time, it's a lot more to do with the comp, and that's why I'm very worried about what options Vitality actually have. It's just Vetheo on that very fed LeBlanc. Carzzy's going to struggle to get his damage out. Photon could be a wild card, but I mean, it's really difficult to make Akshan work when the rest of your team perhaps doesn't necessarily have the best avenues to really get aggressive and find damage output.
I think it's really impressive when you look at the journey for Mad Lions Koi so far this year. And I know we say it all the time, and Elyoya said it in an interview 2 days ago, he's getting tired of the narrative of them being rookie and underestimated. But from losing 2-0 to Fnatic to finally maybe advancing to the next round against a Hylissang who never missed a bracket stage, I don't know, I think this bunch of rookies, and again, they don't like to be called rookies, have been performing phenomenally and innovating in the league as well.
They don't like to be called, do they not want to be voted for Rookie of the Split later on?
Elyoya in the interview 2 days ago was like, I'm sick of these rookie narratives because for me, it sets expectations for failure for the players and for them. If they underperform, it's going to be completely fine. And he didn't like being called this way. What are we looking at here?
So he has high expectations as well.
Yeah.
Well, currently we're looking at a map state right now of what I believe we're going out of the pause right now. So this is where we're going to when we're coming out of the chrono break. I don't think that right now, looking at Vitality, they're going to be in a position where they're looking to attack. It looks like they're getting ready for a reset timer, and more of MDK actually going to be pushing in that mid lane, taking over bot and starting a siege on the tier 2. What they really want here is just to make sure that the entire blue side jungle is covered in vision so they can shift pressure from mid lane and back into the tier 2 and bot lane.
Yeah, this is about suffocating Vitality out, just taking the one last structure that's actually outside of the base. And then perhaps, I can't recall the timers of the Dragon and the Baron just off the top of my head because we've been in this pause for a little while now. But, you know, they could also try and retreat back to the Dragon as long as they don't expend too many resources on this siege on the bottom side. So, yeah, Mad Lions still in the driver's seat for sure.
Dragon is just spawning, actually.
It's just spawning, actually. There you go. There you go. So,
yeah.
this is going to be about setting up a Dragon. If they want to siege the tier 2 first to try and, you know, poke Vitality out so that they don't actually have an opportunity to trade in, that's also fine. From what I can see, though, our information is a little bit limited. I don't even think Vitality really has any deep wards here available for them either. So this is really a one-sided information battle on the side of Mad 2.
it's gonna take time for them to take some control of the map again.
Yeah, I mean,
if they can do it.
it's just
looking
looking
pretty
dire
dire. Yeah.
Because as we already mentioned, right, you're playing into the poke, and I think you're really looking for either a good TP wall for someone to come from there behind as well. But then again, who do you really have TPing in? Actually, no one, because you're looking at an Akshan and a LeBlanc as well there. So
Dude,
it's
it
not
just
like anyone. It sucks. Like I'm trying to sell the. It's like sell me
Yeah.
this pen.
Right.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
And I'm a horrible salesman. So are you a good one?
Am I a good one?
I don't
yeah.
know.
Do you want my autograph? Here's.
I mean, my signature is
That
dog.
one. You're stealing one of the segments that I wanted to do.
What was one of the segments?
Oh wow.
I want to take some really, really bad either drafts or champions poorly drafted or like,
Sell me this draft.
yeah, sell me this draft or sell me this replay. Why was this the good decision making? We could do this.
Well, this sounds like a great pitch meeting.
Yeah?
Yeah. This
Well,
yeah. Why would it just-
Producers, this one is coming for next week.
So Jamada, yeah, start.
yeah.
Let's hear it.
What? So you just what?
Yeah.
This draft or
No,
this
just
pen?
sell me the play.
Oh, the play.
Yeah, sell me the play.
I mean, the play here for Vitality, I'm assuming. Or
And
you want it for
it's
Mad?
okay to full copium here. Like
Oh,
just
full
sell me
copium?
the, just sell
Okay,
me the
all
play.
right. All right, I've got it. For the first time this game,
Yeah,
Hylissang will actually hit more than 2 people with an ultimate and a W.
I can feel it.
And it's going to crucially be the bottom lane. It's going to be Supa, they're going to catch, and they're going to catch Fresskowy as well. And then Daglas is going to, you know, right over the top with a massive gravity well. And then we're finally going to see damage come out from Carzzy because he's finally going to have the space to actually right-click people.
Yeah.
And surely there won't be a Brand ultimate tearing apart Vitality, and surely there won't be a massive Renata ult making them all auto-attack each other. They're just not going to press their buttons.
I like it.
And Vitality will kill all 5 of them.
I'll buy 5
I like
pens.
this pitch.
5 pens?
5
Yeah.
pens, please.
Awesome.
5 RP. Can't buy anything with 5 RP. Anyway, yeah, it's. Honestly, I think it's going to be really difficult for them, especially the pause is getting longer. That's why I'm getting worried
Yes.
for them as well. But you didn't answer my question, Mad Lions,
Ah.
with the trajectory that they had.
Absolutely.
What is the hope for them in the, I don't know, the continuity of the year?
I
How
mean-
far can they go? Because again, for me, seeing a team like this, that inexperienced in a way, even though they've been used to playing together, showing so much within the span of like 4 weeks,
It's looking pretty good.
it's looking pretty good.
And I think specifically as well, one main concern I still had going into playoffs for them, because I think all of them had showed really good plays, was actually Fresskowy in the mid lane. But even Fresskowy, I've actually seen been performing a lot, and even in this series as well, his first game on Taliyah was phenomenal as well. So in that regard, I think that this is a team with a lot of potential, and they're not afraid to limit test. I think because they're so willing to put pedal to the metal, just try out plays, goes all in, sometimes when they shouldn't, it's way easier to figure out your limits than not doing anything at all. So I love the potential they're coming in with, and I think they're doing super solid at being better at a lot of the veterans we have
Super
in lead.
solid. And I think it's and sorry, really bad wordplay here. And I think it's really important, but especially for Elyoya, who rebuilt around again inexperienced players. If he doesn't like the word rookie, playing against his former coaching staff and his former bot lane for Worlds. You want to win this game.
Yeah, no, of course. There's blood in it for him.
Yeah.
Right? And right now, fantastic position. And no matter what, even if this does end up being some weird, you know, skullduggery game where they end up losing and then it's a 2-1 and they get knocked out, I think no matter what, even though Mad Lions and I feel like Elyoya is probably the driving force of such, you know, internal high expectations, even if they do drop out here, they should still feel really proud about breaking down all of these preconceived notions of, okay, you've got 4 lesser experienced than the majority of the league players coming in.
Looking for
dancing,
different, you're not
dancing
trying to say
around,
rookie.
dancing around
Don't
the
say
rookie
the
word.
Don't say the word.
rookie word. Yeah, to get to this point, I think they should still be very happy with themselves, and they're on the doorstep of making it past this stage. So, to me, yeah, obviously there's that thought of ex bot lane, ex coaching staff, etc. There's blood in it for him, and he's going to be
Grudge
happy.
match,
And as Ender would say. Rest in peace, not dead, he's just not here.
He's still alive.
He's still alive. No,
it's just in Valorant.
Yeah,
It's the first for Hylissang as well. I think it was OTP who had a graphic earlier today saying that it would be the first time that her team he joins doesn't make it to the next stage. We'll see if he can turn things around. As we are gearing up for the game, not ready yet, but I'm going to send it back to the casters for now. And maybe it comes back to us. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Improvising. That's what we do today.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
What's up, Drakos?
Bye.
Hey, Drakos.
I see game on my screen, so I hope
Oh, there you
soon
go.
we
Oh.
show people game on their screen. Good pedal to the metal, Guldborg. We're learning all about English phrases today. We're making sure that he's got all of his silly idioms nailed. Speaking of, Supa gonna nail down some damage here as Vetheo jumps in, just trying to clear the wave. They at least have the LeBlanc, and with Baron buff now fading away. Vitality's really only avenue here is to play for the Chemtech Soul, maybe hoping for the 50-50 as Hylissang's gonna get chunked out a little bit here. We were speaking, Rob, and we said ultimate comedy would be coming out of the Chrono Break and Hilly going down anyway.
I would just
die. I don't think we could cash the rest of the game, but Hilly will make it out okay. Photon trying to make a play on the opposite side of the map. It is not Soul for Mad Lions Koi. It is their first of the game, but he's going to be not in trouble. Myrwn's not going to overcommit for that one.
Yeah, I think they're fine. They just wanted to get the dragon to get out. I think trying to fight in these little chokes is like great for Mad Lions Koi in one aspect where Alvaro can get a lot of volume and you kind of got a lot of opportunities to like look for, hey, if we can play for big wide angles, maybe we can look for a concave on Vitality, but you do have to just be very careful with Vetheo. There's Vetheo coming over the wall with 10 stack Dark Seal. Oh, that was so close. That was very unfortunate for Daglas because that could have been the swing that they needed.
Wow. Well, that's embarrassing. Flash down. Just F to pay respects there. That could have been. Think of what could have been right there. Hylissang gonna get caught out here. We'll have Daglas to leap back to, but he's just brought the brand ult with him, and now they're blazing away, and they're both probably dead here, Fresskowy ults. Hylissang gonna go down first. Daglas now gonna make it out to safety, and you can break as much chrono as you want, but you can't stop Hilly.
Oh, you know what? Some things are just meant to be, regardless of the amount of retakes that you get. And now you get control over this top side with Baron in 35 seconds. Hilly will be back on the map, but you're, as Vitality, just trying to double up here, Photon and Vetheo, to just try and look for some sort of answer. I mean, you can kind of keep this pressure up. There's a question mark here as to whether you just don't reset here as Photon and you just hide in bush here with Vetheo and you just look for the one shot into threaten base. Well, Photon might be able to do it himself. We'll find out.
He's only got 2.5 items, though. I don't really know what this 1v1 looks like on the all-in. I would assume that Akshan is favored, especially with Fresskowy not having ultimate, but Photon will linger in the darkness.
Good discipline from Fresskowy there as well. Doesn't overcommit for the wave because he's not entirely sure if Photon is there, but either way, he would have set up a really nice slow push on this bottom side that could have then caused pressure onto the tier 2 if Mad Lions Koi come in this fight. So I like the idea there from Fresskowy, but Elyoya seeking Hilly.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say about that one. Anyway, bot side, continued push from Photon. Leveraging that stealth as much as possible, just waiting to see if anyone's there to respond. Baron has now been started. Photon does have the TP. Will need to use it if they want to. They know that this is happening. Daglas can just flip it on the 50-50. He lost the last one. And Photon TPing into his team's side of the map. So Mad Lions Koi, recognizing that, can just back away, knowing that they got the TP advantage. Can look to just play side lanes more now in the meantime, knowing that the relative threat of Photon on side is significantly lower. That said, Fresskowy, call out here. Chain's going to connect. Flash back. Hylissang debating if he can really follow up. Ulti has been used. Mad Lions Koi in the meantime can pull back to the Baron if they so choose. Vitality really just trying to take control of mid lane. Bit of poke coming in from both Supa and Fresskowy.
I was going to say, as long as Vetheo's visible, Mad Lions Koi feel a little bit more confident, but Fresskowy taking a step too far forward. But the poke from Mad Lions Koi, as you can see, is real. Like, you need to find this engage quick. But instead, they're kind of just letting Mad Lions Koi go back to the Baron, because if you look at bot side, Vetheo now has a TP. He's going to be able to kill this structure before he TPs in. So this is where Mad Lions Koi at least will lose a little bit out on the map. But where does he TP to is the next question.
Should be tough. They really have any vision in their back pocket. Hylissang has a single control ward. They could look to take it down, but inhibitor traded for Baron. That was surprisingly bloodless. Neither side looking to take the fight there. But right now, Vitality are the ones who have gained the immediate value. Yes, Baron's going to give you more gold, but to be honest, having that inhibitor is big for the next Drake. That's a single pressure point that's going to be really difficult for Mad Lions Koi to deal with. They're going to have to burn their entire Baron timer just to make sure that they can secure this Chemtech Drake.
I think it's not too bad, because with the being on the bottom side of the map, you can at least put pressure there and still be in the vicinity of Dragon, so it's a little bit easier to defend than, say, it was like a top tower. And the only thing is, though, as you say, the isolated person that is dealing with that bottom wave is always going to be under pressure from Vetheo. So for Mad Lions Koi, it's about getting pushed mid to now set up this vision on this bottom side jungle. So then whoever is left alone, they can spot out where Vetheo is. Still see him here. Maybe try and look from Supa.
Follow up with the ulti, dash out to safety, and again, this is the struggle of really doing anything with LeBlanc, but Supa's determined. Flash forward. Bold, aggressive, does not finish the kill, however. Vetheo able to walk it off. Again, that's the struggle. LeBlanc just has more mobility. You cannot lock her down. Supa committing, almost getting the kill, but means Mad Lions Koi are at least going to have access, knocking down a tier 2, likely to match with an inhibitor of their own. The rest of Vitality looking to make a counterplay here.
I mean, they aren't in position, and look, they're just going to try and go for mid. Myrwn calls.
Myrwn caught out, pull back on the feathers, does not connect. Flash forward from Carzzy, determined to get something back, but Myrwn living is a disaster for the Vitality counterpunch here. The rest of the team for Mad Lions Koi can just end the game. Daglas has to move in, they have to delete the wave. Vetheo ready to give his life to end the wave, but Vetheo has finally been cut out. He can finally try to step back, but he's been shut down. Daglas going to drop down as well. The Baron power creeps here as well. Myrwn going to stop the recall coming in, and that's going to do it. Vitality trying to get too tricky. Carzzy doesn't have the resources to turn this one back. The poke now coming in. The feathers fly. The pullback is there, but Elyoya does not burn. Carzzy now in trouble. Fresskowy just dives to the backline. Mad Lions Koi have done it. In their first split with 4 rookies, they will secure top 4 in the LEC Winter season. Photon does not have the time, the damage. Mad Lions Koi lock the best of 5s, lock top 4, and knock Vitality out of the Winter Split.
An impressive performance from the Mad Lions Koi. Yes, there were moments where Vitality looked like they had life in that series, but Mad Lions Koi, they play it slow, they play to their strengths, they play for picks, and they play to completely shut down all of Vitality's opportunities. I mean, the weaknesses for Vitality pretty much exposed there by Mad Lions Koi.
Certainly was the case. Both for your key player of the series at LEC on X, Myrwn, Fresskowy, or Supa. I mean, that game, I think Supa, like, single-handedly brought the gold back close to the favor, while everyone was able to play that out pretty well. It was Supa in the early game that kept it close when it was the most difficult.
I think, look, Supa has been incredibly impressive for me. Like we even said on day 1 on the Euphoria podcast, like, it feels like he's going to be one of the next great LEC AD carries that we're going to get to see. And I mean, he's definitely made a name for himself in this first split. So I'm very excited to see what the trajectory of not only himself, but this team is going to be now as they have locked top.
Certainly exciting to think about. Of course, we're going to head to a quick break. When we return, interview with Supa before our second series, SK Gaming vs Fnatic.
That was my best intro ever.
Yeah, not bad, hey, not bad. I can go, bro. You know it as well. I also know you can dance. You should join me next time. And yes, I feel like you've also deserved a bit of a break. You've earned it.
Thanks.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Good job.
Hey, thank you.
Welcome everyone to the Kia Tilt Proof Challenge. We're here to see if 4 gamers can stand up to the test.
Well, this... ¡Oh! ¡Uy, uy, uy! ¡Ajas! Dios mío de mi vida. I think I lost. I'm so happy that I didn't eat before.
Red Bull gives you wings.